Imagine standing at the heart of a Category 5 hurricane. The wind howls like a wild beast. Clouds spiral in a furious dance, and the sea rages below your feet as if screaming into the sky. But then, suddenly, everything falls silent. No more wind, no more rain. The sky clears, the moon appears, and you realize you're standing in the eye of the storm, the calmest place within nature's fury. There's something deeply paradoxical about that, isn't there? How can such perfect peace exist at the center of something so massive, so violent? A monstrous system capable of swallowing cities whole, and yet birds find refuge there. The sky opens up as if the storm never was. In this video, we'll explore how Earth crafts these colossal atmospheric machines we call hurricanes. What gives these swirling giants the power to level entire towns, yet conceal a quiet heart within? And the strange truth, why the eye of the storm might just be the most beautiful place in the worst of days. This isn't just a science lesson. It's a journey into the very heart of a massive natural phenomenon, where life, death, energy, and rebirth collide in a swirling dance of wind and water. Let's begin. And by the end of this video, you may never look at a storm the same way again. Imagine a colossal being hundreds of miles wide moving slowly across the ocean's surface. It has no eyes, no hands yet. Each of its steps can flatten forests, drown villages, and tear open the skies. This is the storm, one of the most powerful living systems nature has ever created. But don't mistake it for just a chaotic swirl of clouds. Every storm is a sophisticated structure, almost like a living machine formed with eerie precision. The eye is its heart, a place where all motion halts, where stillness reigns as if nothing exists. The spiraling arms of clouds are like limbs curling inward to embrace its core. The winds are its breath, drawing in and expelling air with otherworldly force. And water vapor is its lifeblood, the energy source that fuels the entire system. A powerful hurricane can contain as much energy as 10,000 nuclear bombs. If humanity could harness even a fraction of that force, we might power the world for years. But storms are not just about destruction. Beneath their wild, roaring nature lies order, spinning with physics-bound precision, feeding on ocean heat and vanishing when their strength runs dry. So what gives birth to this giant? What makes it grow, thrive, and ultimately fade away? That's what we'll uncover in the next part, How Storms Are Born. Get ready, because what comes next isn't just science. It's the deep hidden logic of nature itself. How storms are born. Every storm begins with a starting point. It's cradled deep in the vast ocean, where warm waters rise and the atmosphere seems to awaken from slumber. But the birth of a storm isn't random. It's the result of a perfect formula crafted by nature. 3 magical ingredients that must come together. 1. Heat, warmth from the ocean. The sea surface must reach at least 26 degrees Celsius. Not just at the surface, but deep enough to keep that warmth steady. Like a pot of water on a stove, when it gets hot enough, vapor rises, creating a towering column of moist air that can soar up to 15 kilometers high. 2. Water vapor, the invisible fuel. As water vapor rises, it condenses into clouds. But with that condensation comes a hidden release, latent heat, the storm's first meal. Each droplet that condenses in the air is a unit of energy. And when billions of them change at once, they unleash a force that pushes the storm upward and outward. 3. The Coriolis force, Earth's invisible hand. Heat and vapor alone would only form a giant cloud. But thanks to the Coriolis effect caused by Earth's rotation, this cloud system begins to spin. It's like stirring a cup of coffee. The surface doesn't just move, it spirals inward toward a central vortex. Earth does the same with oceans and air. However, not every place on Earth can give birth to storms. Within 0 to 5 degrees latitude of the equator, the Coriolis force is too weak, like trying to spin a wheel without an axle. That's why countries close to the equator, like Ecuador, are nearly immune to hurricanes. Meanwhile, regions between 5 and 20 degrees north or south, like the Philippines, Vietnam, or the Caribbean Sea, are fertile grounds for the planet's fiercest cyclones. Put simply, when the ocean is warm enough, the air is humid enough, and the Earth decides to spin, a storm is born. A living entity ready to begin its unpredictable journey. In the next chapter, we'll follow that journey and uncover how a newborn storm grows stronger, larger, and becomes one of the most mesmerizing forces of destruction on Earth. A newborn storm isn't terrifying yet, but when conditions align, it begins to swell, accelerate, and evolve into a climate monster. So what transforms this infant storm into a force powerful enough to swallow an entire city? Phase 1. Relentless evaporation. Water vapor rises from the ocean, not in gentle wisps, but in great breaths, as if the sea itself were alive. Warm, moist air ascends and condenses into thick clouds. With each condensation latent, heat is released, like millions of tiny batteries exploding in the sky, driving the air higher, fueling a fever of energy. Phase 2. The spiraling surge. Air pressure at the sea's surface drops like pulling the plug on a vast water basin. Surrounding air rushes inward, but because Earth is spinning, the inflow doesn't go straight. It swirls, spirals, dances. The result: a vortex stretching up to 500 miles wide, spinning like a colossal ballet dancer across the ocean. Phase 3. The self-amplifying loop. More wind equals more evaporation. More vapor equals more clouds and energy. More energy equals stronger winds, faster rotation, more vapor drawn in. It's a feedback loop, a turbo mode switch flipped by nature itself. But like any overcharged engine, if left unchecked, it surges forward, destroying everything in its path. In the next part, we'll step into the most paradoxical place in this entire system, the one space that every storm, no matter how massive, preserves in silence, the eye where the skies can clear, the winds can pause, and if you're lucky, you might even see the stars. Amid a howling tempest, where skies are torn by spiraling winds, rain lashes like whips, and thunder crashes like the drums of gods, there lies a place so strange, so breath-stealing in its stillness, it feels unreal. The eye of the storm, the heart of chaos, and yet, the center of peace. So what is the eye of the storm? It's the circular zone right at the center of a hurricane, typically spanning 30 to 50 kilometers wide, where winds nearly vanish, clouds dissolve, and the sky clears so completely that at night you might actually see the moon and stars. Sounds like a myth, but it's real, confirmed by pilot satellites and even seabirds who find shelter there. What causes this eerie calm? As moist air rises from the storm's outer bands, spinning rapidly around the center, it forms a massive chimney of rotating clouds. But at the very core, instead of rising, the air sinks. This downward motion dries the air, causing clouds to evaporate, leaving behind a clean, quiet patch of sky. No rain, no thunder, just silence. Meanwhile, the high-speed winds rotating around the storm create centrifugal force, like a spinning wheel, flinging objects outward. That force prevents outside air from entering the eye, shielding it in serenity. A surprising guest: birds in the eye. Sailors and scientists have reported seeing seabirds circling peacefully inside the eye, not panicked, not fleeing. These birds, swept into the storm's core during formation, end up finding a bizarre kind of refuge there. Some are even carried hundreds of miles passengers without tickets, drifting on nature's swirling express. The eye of the storm is like Earth's deep breath, a quiet inhale in the middle of a war between wind and water. But don't be fooled by that peace. Just beyond it lies the eye wall, the most violent part of the storm. That's where winds scream the loudest, rains fall the heaviest, and destruction often peaks. In the next part, we'll witness what happens when the storm makes landfall and unleashes the fury it has gathered from the sea upon the human world. While a storm still roars at sea, it's like a caged beast, fierce, beautiful, terrifying, but distant. But once it reaches land, it becomes more than just a natural phenomenon. It becomes a survival test for humanity. Rain. Not just water, but floods. A major storm can dump thousands of millimeters of rain in just a few days, equal to tens of billions of gallons, pouring down on a small area. The ground can't absorb it. Rivers can't carry it fast enough. And then, flash floods erupt. Low-lying regions, concrete-covered cities, and riverside communities are the first to suffer the blow. Waves. Not just crests, but mobile walls. In the storm's center, the extremely low air pressure pulls ocean water upward, forming storm surges. These waves can reach 8 to 10 meters and up to 20 to 30 meters when they slam into land. These aren't gentle tides. They crash into the coast like an armored tank, smashing through homes, roads, bridges, and trees as if they were toys. Sobering statistics, but worth remembering. Each year, tropical storms cause billions of dollars in damage across the U.S., especially in coastal states like Florida, Texas, and Louisiana. Hurricane Katrina 2005 remains one of the deadliest climate disasters in U.S. history. Nearly 2,000 lives lost, over $125 billion in damage. A storm is not just about weather. It's a test of our adaptation, our urban planning, and above all, a wake-up call in a world heating up day by day. In the next part, we'll uncover why hurricanes choose summer and fall to strike, and how that connects to Earth's swirling hot, humid life cycle. Why do hurricanes prefer summer and fall? If you live along the U.S. coastline from Florida to New Orleans, from the Carolinas to Texas, you've probably noticed a pattern: hurricanes always seem to visit during summer and fall. But why? The answer lies beneath the surface, within the warming oceans. From June to November, sea surface temperatures in tropical oceans, Atlantic, Pacific, and beyond reach their annual peak. And as you've learned, warm water is the lifeblood of hurricanes. Picture the ocean as a massive pot of water. In summer, it simmers steadily, sending up billions of tons of vapor each day like a global sauna rising into the sky. Now add a more active atmosphere. During this time of year, convection currents, rising and sinking airflows intensify due to the heat difference between land and sea. Warm air rises. Rotation kicks in. The Coriolis force spins the system. Together, they create the perfect conditions for tropical storms to form and grow. That's why we have a formal name for it. Hurricane season. In the Northern Hemisphere, it runs from June to November, peaking from August to October. In the Southern Hemisphere, it stretches from December to March of the following year. Understanding this cycle helps meteorologists forecast more accurately and gives communities precious time to prepare for the worst-case scenarios. Nature has its own calendar, and hurricanes, though they may seem chaotic, follow a predictable rhythm, as if Earth performs a cleansing ritual each year. Amid swirling winds and pounding rain, perhaps the storm is teaching us something. That chaos holds order within, that sometimes peace is found in the eye of the storm, and that learning how nature works doesn't just help us survive. It teaches us how to live more beautifully with this planet. If this video gave you something new to think about, don't forget to share it, like it, and subscribe. Because every second we understand the world a little better is a second we understand ourselves a little more.